Everybody, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to our first vlog style video where you see this lovely X4M that last week we spent quite a lot of time fitting a new engine to. Joel and I did it together, mostly Joel, and today we're going to need to take it all apart again. I'm being serious. We have to take the whole thing apart again.
Oh, really?
Yes. Right, let's get into why. Let's get into the why. On Friday night, after Joel went home, I finished putting the car back together. I then went to go and drive it, and I had no brake servo. Any ideas?
Vacuum?
Yes, he's on the right tracks. So, no vacuum is the problem. What doesn't? So the engine came out of a G car, right? A G82 M4. Oh, he's got it already. What doesn't a G car have these days?
Brake servo.
Brake servo. What do you need to create vacuum?
Vacuum pump.
Vacuum pump. What doesn't that engine have in it?
Vacuum pump.
Yes. So, in order to get the engine or the brake servo to now work, we have to take the sump off because the vacuum pump is actually bolted to the oil pump. So what we're going to do to make it quite fun and informative, we're going to show you what the vacuum pump actually looks like, and to do that we're going to go over to the old engine, and I thought it'd be quite cool to show what actually happened to the old S58 and why we had to change it, because it did suffer from oil starvation. The oil pump drives it.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that, and I worked it out on the way home. So literally I was like, why is there no vacuum? And then I remember we took the blank out, and you were like, oh, what's that? Is that crankcase breather? And I was like, I don't actually know. And I was driving home, and I was like, that pipe's obviously vacuum. And I was like, the only reason a vacuum pump would be going to the sump, a vacuum pipe, is if the vacuum pump is connected to the oil pump. Anyway, went online.
Different engine.
Different, yeah. The S58 that came in the X4Ms and X3Ms had servos. All G cars don't have servos anymore. So the new engine doesn't need a vacuum pump. Which means we've got to take the whole front subframe down again and take the sump off and fit that.
Yeah, fit it.
Put it back together.
Can we even swap them?
Well, the thing is, the oil pump has failed in that engine, so we can't just swap the whole oil pump. We have to swap the vacuum pump itself onto the good oil pump that's in the S58 that's in the car. Now, I have looked online and I do think it's possible, but that is what we're going to find out today, and you're along for the journey. This is a day in the life of being a mechanic. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get this one lifted up so we can have a look at this vacuum pump assembly, get it off, and then we're going to see whether any bearing shells had spun or not, because I'd like to know really what happened. I'll show you what happened with the oil pump too, so we're just going to get into that. Well, where's the vacuum pump then? Ah, right, okay, so now with the S58 up in the air, we can see the vacuum pump is this little bit here. So we're going to have to remove that. Now, can you spot in the comments what's wrong here with this oil pump? I'm going to give you a clue. Yes, the pulley, well, the bolt for the pulley snapped, the head of it snapped off, and then the sprocket that's on this chain left the chat, which then meant that the oil pump was no longer spinning and put on an oil warning. Apparently turned it off straight away, but damage was already done. So I'm now going to have a look into how we get this vacuum pump off, and then we'll probably turn the engine over or lay it down on here and start having a look at these bearing shells. Right, so here is a blank. On the X4M, the vacuum pipe enters the engine here. So somehow vacuum gets from here to there. And I really hope that that's through some internal castings and not something else, which means that that engine will never work, because that would really upset me. If we've installed it, it runs, but because of this vacuum pump thing, we've got to take it out again. So, must get to the bottom of that now by taking this apart. Oh, so the vacuum must go through here. Right, now does this come apart? Yes. Right, I have worked it out. We've got our components in front of us. Here is the vacuum pump. The vacuum pump is driven by this hex key. That hex key goes through this part and then is driven in that hex insert there. So it kind of goes in like that, right? Problem. I just had a look at the oil pump in the G series S58 that I've got over there. Doesn't have the hex key, which means it's game over. We need to buy another oil pump. So there you have it. We need a new oil pump. It was £580, so that is now on order for tomorrow. So let's now find out what damage has been caused to this engine. Has any bearing shell spun? Because potentially this could go back on the road in someone else's car in the future. Ooh. Right. First, does it turn over? Ooh, it does turn over. The next thing we want to look for is any sort of like discolorations, which is going to mean that something's got hot. But to be honest with you, it doesn't look too bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to take number 6 rod cap off, have a look at the bearing shell, see if there's any damage, have a look at the crank, and then we'll probably take a main bearing out as well and just have a look there, see if there's any damage. Ooh, not bad. Next thing to look at is there any damage to the crank itself? Can't see any damage. Let's look at the main bearing next.
Don't film me struggling, bro.
Ooh! What do you think about that?
Is that bad?
No,
Is that good?
it's not bad at all.
What's this dirty dirt? Oh, it's just wear.
That is just wear. It's a funny bit of wear there, isn't it? But that is just wear. The verdict's in, and this engine can go no further. We've had a look at things, and there is just too much damage to components, especially like this here, the oil pump. It's completely scored. We had a look at the oil filter earlier on, loads of metal in there. So unfortunately, this engine is ready for the scrap bin. All right, you now find us with the X4. We've gone ahead and got the subframe off so that we can expose the oil pan. We've taken the front diff off, and now we are taking off all the bolts that hold on that oil pan so we can get it off and start removing that oil pump, ready for tomorrow when we can get it replaced. It's the next morning and we now have the new oil pump in the box. There she is. And we can show you the differences. So here's the G series one. Can you see the difference there? This vacuum pump is not on that one. So that's the one out the G engine. This is out the F engine. So there we go. We're going to get this fitted. It should all be good again. Job done, it's all back together, but the moment of truth, do we now have vacuum on our brake pedal? Oh! Right, that was about 9 hours, by the way, for anyone that thinks it was about 2 minutes. Here we go. Yes, we have brake pedal. Don't worry about that. Find out what that is in a minute. Other than that, mint. Right, let's see what it's like on the road after we fix that. That's nice. Well, it's not lying. Right, car's all back together. Let's take it out for a little test drive. So this car, I think was sat on the customer's drive for probably about 2 months. So I'm sure we'll be happy to have it back, finally. Nice car to have, X4M, quite popular these days. Just gonna make sure everything's all good. And he'll probably come and pick it up tomorrow. Tasty.
Not bad for a big girl.
She's tasty. Yeah, not bad for a big girl. Not bad. All right. One of the things we're thinking of doing is a little bit of salvage, build and repair. If you want to see that, give us a comment of what sort of cars you want to see us repair. Obviously, don't want to be doing no Kia Sportages or Stacia Sanderos. We're looking for cool cars to do some salvage, mainly BMW, but I'm not, you know, it doesn't have to be a BMW. But yeah, give us a comment and let us know what you think. Sweet. All right, that is the X4M all sorted. Hope you like this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and we're going to be doing a lot more of these videos a lot more frequently. So please give it a share, help us out, and I'll catch you next time. Peace!